I was scrolling through YouTube and I came across this. Carmelo Anthony and family beg judge not to charge him as an adult. Black Lives Matter outraged. Wasn't he charged as an adult last week? They weren't coming out saying this stuff. So, what has changed to make his family beg the judge not to charge him as an adult? What has changed in the time from when he was charged as an adult till now? They had to give back all that money. And Black Lives Matter? Black lives don't matter to Black Lives Matter. They do nothing but make money off of black people, do what they want with it, and then come up with the next big outrage to make more money. So, as it stands, one second, this to me right here is totally ridiculous. He took steps in what he did. It was not self defense. He gave Austin Metcalf a warning. Now, a lot of people, especially black people, will say, well, Austin Metcalf should have listened. No, Carmelo Anthony shouldn't have been there in the first place. If he wasn't there in the first place, none of this could have happened. He would still be going around stealing from people, Carmelo Anthony, getting into fights, and Austin Metcalf would still be alive. Carmelo Anthony took steps to do this to himself. You can't blame the white man. You can't blame Texas. You can't blame nothing. You can only blame Carmelo Anthony and his handlers. And like I said, this stuff didn't come out right when he was charged as an adult. A week later, his parents are begging the judge. Carmelo Anthony already got leniency, which nobody else does. His bond or bail was lowered by a black woman judge. You see him walking out of court like he's a tough guy. He did what he did. When he told the cops, no, I did it, it's not alleged, he was like a tough guy. Now he's crying his ass off. His family is crying his ass off and begging. Stop begging. What his parents need to do now, and his handlers, they need to prepare him that he could go to prison for the next 40, 50, 60 years, whatever. It's also possible he could get the death penalty. But instead of preparing him for that, they're begging the judge, they're doing this, they're doing that. Why? Because they can't have the fundraising money. That's what changed. So basically, like with slavery, his family was selling him for money. Don't give me this bullshit, no. If this was my son that did this, none of this would be happening. None. Black Lives Matter definitely wouldn't be involved. How did they get involved this fast? It was like they were involved before it even hit the news. And where is that knife? You hear black people on podcasts saying, well, it was raining. He was trying to take shelter from the rain. It was drizzling. What is his color going to wash off? It was drizzling. It wasn't pouring rain, Superstorm Sandy, none of this other stuff. And why didn't he take and go to his school's tent? Because his school knew what he was all about and he couldn't steal from them? We've seen in hundreds of videos black people, especially black women, train their kids from when they're really little. Cops don't like black people. White people don't like black people. White people are the enemy. You need to be afraid of white people. You need to be afraid of cops. Why are you brainwashing your kids that early? There are body cams now. And people will still defend black people's outrageous behavior, even though it's all caught on camera. I believe this was a setup, and I believe now they want their kid out of jail so they can make money off of him. They ruined Carmelo Anthony's life with this shit. Oh, well, you don't know what it's like to be black. This is not the 70s and 80s where that might have flew. There are body cams now. And I haven't heard word one about these body cams glitching. The only time I've ever heard that the body cams were turned off was with the Jussie Smollett shit when he told the cops shut the cameras off. Well, let's go with the video.
Carmelo Anthony has been charged officially as an adult for first-degree murder. My heart dropped, and I lost my fucking appetite.
But it's good that he got charged like this, asshole. Look what he did. Oh, we're frustrated with white people. No, you're jealous of fucking white people. Because you think we got a whole bunch of shit you don't. How much did that shirt cost you? I guarantee you that's some kind of official shirt that definitely costs more than 30, 40, $50. But yo po black folk, right? The clothes I'm wearing right now cost a total of $40. And I've had them since 2013. I'm white. Don't give me this bullshit. I've got more than black people do, because I don't. All my shit comes from Temu, from Walmart, from a place called Hamilton Books. Nope, but black people feel like, especially black women, I've got to have the most expensive weave, the most expensive eyelashes, the most expensive nails, Birkin bags. Right now, I'm using a pink purse from Temu and I love it. And I spent $10 on it. Why do you have to be these fashionistas and get all this shit? I remember a case in paternity court, and I've said it before. One mother is saying the government and fathers pay for her first four kids, but the fifth kid she doesn't have the money to take care of because public assistance will not pay, and neither will the father. What was on her head? At least $200 worth of weave. You can afford $200 worth of weave, but that $200 couldn't go on your baby, who you claim you're having a hard time even feeding. I really believe, like with slavery, like the beginning of slavery, black people sold poor black people, to the Middle Easterners, and that's where the slave trade was started. I believe Carmelo Anthony's parents want to make money off of him. And since the fundraising money was taken away, now they're bitching they don't want him tried as an adult. They didn't say anything when it first happened, but they're saying something now. And honestly, you should feel like a kick in the gut just for the fact this is a kid who wasted his life over bullshit. No, but you want him to have a second chance. For what? How many fights did he get into that he started at his school? Probably started because he was stealing and got caught. How many more chances should this kid get? He got all these chances and he took a life. I don't care Austin Metcalf is white. I truly don't. Both kids' lives are over because of this. You let Carmelo Anthony out, he will have it in his head he can do this again. Oh, and what? This is Texas. He might get the death penalty. Good. He gave Austin Metcalf a fucking death penalty.
And I think it's because I just know that feeling, and I feel like I know what the outcome gonna be because this is Texas.
Carmelo Anthony's parents weren't just asking for leniency, they were begging the judge not to try their 17-year-old son as an adult. With tears in their eyes and a stack of letters from community leaders, teachers, and even former classmates, they pleaded for mercy, arguing that Carmelo was still a child, a misguided teen.
Yeah, this is what black people like to do. He's a kid, he's a kid, he's a kid. He's a man, he's a man, he's a man. In the beginning of this, he was a young man. Now he's a kid. His parents didn't give a fuck when they were getting that money. Now they care?
Blooded criminal. The courtroom was tense. BLM representatives sat in silent support.
He's not a cold blooded criminal? That was premeditated. Everything he did that day was premeditated. Let's see. The kids under that tent, when it was time to do the track and field stuff, they leave their phones there, right? So why was Carmelo Anthony in the tent again? He had done this kind of thing multiple times before. It was premeditated. Even now, did he mean to stab Austin Metcalf in the heart? Not unless he was trained to have that good of accuracy. But he did mean to stab him, and he didn't care that he killed him. No, it's not alleged. I did it. He didn't care if Austin Metcalf lived or died. Why do people now have to care whether or not Carmelo Anthony lives or dies? Why? Because he's a kid? So was Austin Metcalf. And look at all the shit Austin Metcalf's family's going through by black people and white people. By white people because they won't just go and condemn Carmelo Anthony and go at him with everything they've got. And black people because who gives a fuck about white people? Well, how about this? Who gives a fuck about black people? This black kid, for what he did, does not deserve to live anymore. He doesn't. He took a life. That bitch in the track and field who hit another student because she was winning. That bitch should be expelled from school. I don't care if she's close to graduating. She lost that privilege by doing what she did. And in that instance, it was two black girls. So don't give me this bullshit, I'm racist. Yes, white people have gotten away with shit, but it's a whole fucking lot harder now that there's fucking body cams. Black Lives Matters bitch that they wanted these body cams to catch crooked cops. Instead, you caught crooked people. And you can see all over YouTube, it's the majority black people. This is bullshit.
Over documents of their own, studies on juvenile sentencing disparities, case files showing bias in prosecutorial.
Fuck the bias. Fuck the case studies. There's a video of what he did. Look at him. He doesn't look upset or anything. He looks proud over what he did. Well, let him be proud in prison for the rest of his life, or being proud while sitting in the electric chair.
And statements claiming this trial was shaping up to be another example of the system being weaponized against young black men. But here's the
fuck you! The system wasn't being weaponized against him. The system was in place before he did this shit. So now the whole system was created and rigged just to fuck with this kid?
The twist that shocked everyone. The prosecution fired back with chilling video evidence and eyewitness reports, highlighting that over 30 people, including coaches, students, and staff, witnessed the incident. They emphasized that Carmelo brought the knife himself and allegedly confessed on the scene. This wasn't a heat-of-the-moment brawl. According to them, it was premeditated violence. And as that footage played, you could feel the emotional ground shift in the room.
And how dare Carmelo Anthony get told he didn't belong where he was? But what did the black people at the Carmelo Anthony press conference do? They felt uneasy with Austin Metcalf's father just standing in the back of the room, just watching what was going on. They needed him to leave. Carmelo Anthony didn't have to leave, but Austin Metcalf's father had to leave. You don't see the problem there? Okay, let's make a restaurant and not allow black people in it, because the white people will feel very uncomfortable with them there. You think that's gonna fly?
Carmelo's supporters looked shaken. Now the question isn't just about what happened that day. It's about whether the justice system should weigh intention, youth, and race more heavily than brutal reality. So you start to wonder.
And all of that goes against Carmelo Anthony. He was intent on going to a track meet. Why? There would have been lots of bags unattended. He wanted to steal, which he has done before. And like a lot of other black people, because of Black Lives Matter, they feel entitled to shit that isn't theirs and doesn't belong to them. Carmelo Anthony had started a lot of fights and bet up a lot of people. You mean to tell me he was afraid of Austin Metcalf? Get the fuck out of here. He went there to do bullshit. And every move he made was premeditated. He knew he was gonna stab the kid, and he didn't give a fuck if the kid was gonna die. And he didn't care once it happened. He was proud of himself for doing it. What the fuck is he proud of? Oh, he stood up for himself? No, he didn't. He caused all that shit. There's no pride and no dignity in anything Carmelo Anthony did. Nothing.
Right. Would he already be back home? Is this justice or a lesson being made? And should a 17-year-old be defined forever by one violent moment? Or does accountability...
What one violent moment? His school has a history of him causing violence against people. Don't play.
require adult consequences? This courtroom just became the battleground for more than one young man's future. It's now a national debate about justice itself. You hear the term tried as an adult, but what does that really mean when the defendant is just 17? For Carmelo...
What'd he do? What'd he do? He took a life. You let him get away with this, he will do it again. And then what are you going to say? The same thing again? It doesn't matter because the one he killed was white? Well, what if white people said, oh, it doesn't matter, it's just a black kid, let him go, we don't want him anyway? That's racist! With what Carmelo Anthony did, he ruined his life and Austin Metcalf's life. He also ruined Austin Metcalf's family. And he didn't care. So why the fuck should anyone care about him because of what he did?
Anthony, it means the difference between a few years in a juvenile facility and possibly decades in prison. It means being housed with grown men, facing adult sentencing guidelines, and living with a permanent record that could shadow him for life. That's exactly what his legal team is fighting against. In court, they painted a picture of a teenager.
His legal team is Black Lives Matter. They don't give a fuck about what happens to Carmelo Anthony. They care about their own agenda.
Struggling under pressure. They referenced grades slipping in the months leading up to the stabbing, anxiety attacks, and a history of being bullied. According to them, Carmelo
bullied my ass. Who was he bullied by? His family. He caused fights in school. He was known for having sticky fingers. That could be why the fights were going on, because he wouldn't stop stealing from other kids.
Carmelo wasn't a criminal. He was a scared kid who snapped. A child who made him...
He wasn't a criminal? The school has multiple reports and evidence against his bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. Because he's black, now black people want to have a new martyr like George Floyd. Well, they were wrong with George Floyd, and they're wrong with this kid.
A mistake under extreme emotional distress. And most importantly, they argued, he still had the capacity to grow, to be rehabilitated, to return to society better than he...
No, he didn't, because he had chance after chance after chance, and all he wanted to do was steal. All he wanted to do was take what didn't belong to him. He wanted to be in a place he didn't belong. That day he belonged in school. Why did he cut school? It wasn't just to cut school. He knew there was a track meet going on. He knew when the runners go running, their stuff is left under a tent. His school knew about him, so he went to the other tent. And his family just wants to make money off of him. Like the Africans 5,000 years ago wanted to make money off of their own people.
It. But prosecutors weren't buying it. They countered with chilling clarity, showing that Carmelo allegedly brought the weapon from home, concealed it, and stabbed Austin Metcalf in what
Yep.
they described as a deliberate and targeted act. In their words, this was not a reaction, this was a decision. And they argued
Yep.
that the public has a right to feel safe, that charging Carmelo as an adult isn't just about punishment, but deterrence. And here's what's
Yep.
tearing people apart online. Do you prioritize justice for the victim or rehabilitation for the offender? If a 17-year-old can plan violence, should he face the same consequences as a 27-year-old? Or are we
How do you rehabilitate this? I guarantee you he spoke to counselors at school for the bullshit he was doing. Did it stop him? No. So he had multiple chances to stop and didn't. He planned this all out. He's done stuff like this before, not killing, but everything leading up to the killing. Going places he shouldn't have been and trying to steal from people. People confronting him and it turned into a fight. How many times did that happen? 1, 2, 3, 10? This kid was given enough chances. It's done. He gets let go. He's gonna do more shit, and so will a lot of other black people feeling like they should get away with it too.
fear override the hope for reform? Because at this point, the judge isn't just weighing evidence, he's deciding what kind of justice system this really is. While the courtroom debates swirl around sentencing, a powerful wave of outside support has entered the picture.
And if it's that black female judge, and if they decide no jury trial, she might let him off. Because he's black and she's black, and oh, I'm tired of what happened. Excuse me, what happens to black people. Meanwhile, she's guilty of doing it too because she's a judge and she's been sentencing them. Aw, Carmelo Anthony's gonna get taken care of in prison. Well, he took care of Austin Metcalf. This kid had ample opportunities to stop and he didn't do it. You let him get away with this, he's gonna do it more. You mean to tell me if Jussie Smollett comes back, he's not gonna pull this shit again? He already screamed in court, if I die, I'm not suicidal. Motherfucker, who wanted to kill your dumbass? Or maybe it was because that was set up by the Democrats and he saw what happened to Epstein. Black people, hello, hello, hello. You're going after Joe Schmoes because it's easier. Why don't you go after the Democratic elite who are putting you in these positions? Nope. You chicken shit motherfuckers feel it's easier to pick on the little guy than go after the ones actually causing the problem. Cowards.
And it's louder than ever. Black Lives Matter organizers have now officially thrown their full weight behind Carmelo Anthony, publicly urging the judge to show compassion and reject the motion to charge him as an adult. Across social media and at courthouse rallies, BLM leaders are making their stance clear. We are not defending violence. We're defending a child failed by his environment. Signs.
His environment means his family. Oh no, it means by the white school. He wasn't going to a white school. He was going to an integrated school. So does that mean we need to go back to the days of segregation? After a while, black people aren't going to like it and they're going to want to be integrated again. Most of the stuff black people have wanted, they've gotten. And then they keep changing it and upping the ante. Motherfuckers, you have more freedom here than you would in other countries. Look at that one bitch who moved to Africa because she said America was so racist. She wants to come back. Rosie O'Donnell went to Ireland. Ireland ain't putting up with her bullshit. She wants to come back. If America is so bad, why do people want to come here and why do they want to come back? Stop causing bullshit and you'll see how great America actually is.
Messages like protect our youth and reform, not ruin. To them, Carmelo isn't just one teenager on trial. He's a reflection of a system that too often criminalizes young black boys.
You see, black people like to play with numbers when it goes against white people. Well, no, the numbers go against black people. Even black on black crime. So many black people have said, I haven't had any problems with white people. It's been my own people who have fucked around with me. But most blacks would say that's the white man's fault because you're keeping black people from having what they deserve. What do black people deserve that they don't have? Riches. Fuck you. You work hard, you get your riches, that's what you deserve. They're not working for it, they just want it handed to him, to them. Big difference. Huge difference. We want reparations. Look at all the programs that were set up specifically to help black people. Yeah, poor white people got to use them too, but it was set up for black people. And they wanted more. Danny Glover went in front of Congress to get reparations. The motherfucker's net worth is $40 million, 40. Now they say whatever the net worth is, they really only have half of that money. So he has $20 million, but he wants more. And he wants it, and black people want it from the average Joe Schmo. The Democrats caused all this shit. It should be taken out of their millions of dollars. Nope. Like this one bitch that's coming out now, we want reparations in white people's blood. Bitch, if the numbers are true and there are more white people than black, it's gonna be a slaughter. And black people that are left are still going to cry racism. It's pathetic. And you've got a lot of great black people who get lost in all this shit.
Ignoring the trauma they carry, but their support isn't going unchallenged. Critics are accusing BLM of hypocrisy, claiming the organization is defending someone who took a life. Some
Yep.
argue the movement is playing favorites,
Yep.
offering compassion only when the accused fits a certain narrative. Others
Exactly. A narrative that they can make money off of. Didn't they get enough money off of black people? And what did they do? They ran to the white neighborhoods to have a better life for themselves, not the black neighborhoods. They didn't put the money in the black neighborhoods to make the black neighborhoods better. And a lot of black people feel, yeah, take over the white neighborhoods. Uh, is that the mentality that there was in the days where they claim black people built America? Oh, well, whenever we build something, the white man takes it away. No, motherfuckers, the white man flashes shiny, whiny shit in your face, and you think that's more than what you have, and you go for it. There was a time when black people were doing so good. But the black leaders, like the black people in Africa, decided they wanted more. So, in essence, they sold their black people to the Democrats. Wake the fuck up, black people. The average person, from the moment they're born, the average white person, get along with everybody. Everybody's equal. We've seen in videos black mothers telling their kids, white people don't like us, white cops don't like us, cops in general don't like us because we be black. Get the fuck out of here. It's wrong.
This is a case that should remain in the courtroom, not on protest signs. And then there's the Metcalf family. They've stayed relatively quiet during these rallies, but their silence carries weight. Every chant, every speech, every media clip calling Carmelo a victim of the system feels like salt in a still fresh wound. There's
White people are going against the Metcalf family for not trying to go after this kid's jugular. And black people are going after them because it's like, why was your son born in the first place? Because Carmelo Anthony wouldn't have done what he did. How the fuck crazy is that? How? Austin Metcalf wasn't looking to kill. Carmelo Anthony was looking to kill. Oh no, he had that knife in his backpack for protection. Bullshit. Maybe Carmelo Anthony got tired of the fighting because maybe he's a weak little fuck and got bet up by the other kids. He wanted to make sure nobody was going to beat him up this time when he tried to steal something. That's the punishment you get when you try to steal. And it's not punishment from white people. I guarantee you a lot of those fights were with black kids. And if they weren't, that's another pattern and that will be hidden. Because remember, black people cannot be racist, which is bullshit. Black people are the most racist people on the planet and towards their own people. And I'm tired of every time I say something about this is black people shit. I need to find my way out of it and not talk about it. Austin Metcalf's white, you motherfuckers. And instead of talking about why this should not have happened, black people are defending this kid's actions. Fuck all of you who are doing that.
And watching the accused gain national sympathy while they grieve in private, that's a pain no courtroom can fix. So now, the question is this: can justice and empathy coexist, or does siding with one automatically silence the other? Because in this trial, it's not just the law on display, it's the values of an entire nation. Inside the courtroom, the legal...
No, it's the values of black people that are being called into scrutiny. It's not? Then how come Austin Metcalf isn't the one who's alive and Carmelo Anthony is the one who's dead? White man so violent. Austin Metcalf wasn't looking to kill Carmelo Anthony. The second Carmelo Anthony opened his backpack, he was looking to do something. And you mean to tell me Carmelo Anthony is actually stupid and doesn't know what can happen if you stab someone? And again, it's how dare somebody white tell somebody black they're not allowed to do something. You're not allowed to be there. You're not allowed to steal. You're not allowed to this. You're not allowed to that. And again, cultural appropriation, all this ratchet bullshit, was inbred hillbilly white shit. The black people are the ones culturally appropriating everything under the sun. And white people don't care, but there was a black woman who was trying to chase down a white woman for having braids like she was going to rip them out of her head. That bitch should have been killed for that shit. Arrested and given the death penalty because she's not going to stop either. What were the African tribes wearing? I bet you it wasn't what that black woman was wearing who was chasing down that girl with the braids. They're putting hair on their heads to look like white women. Don't give me this shit, no, looking like black women. What black woman is born with straight hair who is actually black? There are a lot of mixed women who have straight hair. And who came up with the phrase good hair? Black women. How many videos have I seen of black women wearing these wigs and weaves, calling their daughters nappy headed little bitches? Why? Because it's like looking into a mirror and they don't like it. White women don't do that to their daughters. And I'm not saying something that's not true. It may be something that black women don't want to hear, but it's true. There is a woman in Congress, I don't know her name and I don't care to know her name. She went off on a white congressman saying, keep Martin Luther King's name out of your mouth. Why, bitch? We have freedom of speech. Now, she's bald, and I happen to think she looks very pretty. She does. She's just a bitch. Jasmine Crockett, that hair on her head looks like she hasn't washed it in years. The same thing with Maxine Waters. Come on, and all anyone wants to say is white people shouldn't be opening their mouths? That's oppression. Well, we were oppressed. Fuck you. Your own black people sold you into oppression. For a profit. Oh, well, no, white people benefited more from it. Where are black people not benefiting from that today? Well, we don't have riches. Fuck you. Most white people don't have riches. We don't care. We want riches. We want reparations. We want, go fuck yourselves. It's a part of history. The Irish white slaves were treated worse than the black slaves in America. But black people have to be the biggest victims on the planet? This right here is no victim.
Into its most critical phase yet. Carmelo's attorneys present a deeply emotional argument centered around one word: potential. According to them, charging Carmelo as an adult would mean throwing away a young life that still has room to change, grow, and heal.
A young life was taken away that had those same opportunities. You take a life for no reason, and there was no reason to do this, your life needs to be taken away as well. But because he's black, you gotta let him off. Bullshit. If he goes to prison, he gets what he deserves. You take a life for no reason, your life should be taken. Period. It doesn't matter you're black. It doesn't matter you're white. It doesn't matter you're black and killed a white person. It doesn't matter if you're white and killed a black person. You killed somebody. And what nobody's getting is the really horrible part of this. 2 kids are going to be losing their lives, or hopefully, because Carmelo Anthony, all he's going to learn from this is he got away with it. He can do it again. Look at the brick lady. She kept getting away with shit. She's coming up with a new scam right now. That bitch is another one who should be in prison. Oh, because she rejected a black guy. He hit her in the face with a brick. How hard a guy can hit. And with a brick, she had no broken bones. A lot of black people will say because black women are strong. Well, then I guess that means that old thing of black women can't feel pain is true. They can't even break bones. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't make sense to me. Black people, black women, they feel pain like anybody else. They're human. But how much you want to bet any black person who gets a hold of this video is just going to point out the parts I'm saying that will fit their agenda of racism? Not that we just lost 2 kids who could have been great leaders or doctors or teachers. No, just let the black kid off, because white lives don't matter. From what we're seeing on all the videos that are being put out there, and again, that's what's being put out there, especially by the media, the mainstream media who's being paid by the Democrats and the elites, that it's true. Joe Biden himself was recorded in a meeting saying, letting all these Hispanic immigrants in, you're going to have a lot more trouble with them than you do the blacks. That the blacks were easier to handle. Why? You just give them shit and it should shut them up. That's not working anymore, Biden. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Speak of a boy who had never been in serious trouble before this. A kid raised in a turbulent neighborhood, surrounded by influence far bigger than himself. His lawyer.
Oh, boo-hoo, motherfucking who. His parents said they didn't need the fundraising money. That all the stuff they were buying, the new house, the cars, had nothing to do with that money. So why weren't they raising their kid in a better neighborhood? How much were all three of the cars they bought? How much was the house they bought? So if they had that money ahead of time, why were they living in a trash neighborhood where their kids could be brought up with trash, be treated like trash, and then in turn become trash to themselves? This is by their words. The mother said they didn't get the donations yet. This was all their money. So they had the means to get out of that fucking neighborhood and do better for their kids, and they didn't do it. They had to sacrifice one of their kids to do it. Where is that fucking knife? Where's the knife? Where is the murder weapon? You mean to tell me the white kids that were there hid it to protect Carmelo Anthony? Because hiding it would not protect Austin Metcalf. It wasn't his knife. His hands were never on the knife. If black people are so smart, why are they being led around like the three blind mice? Because they're being promised something. And it's actually a small handful of black people who are smart enough to see through the bullshit. Majority just want what they want, and they don't care how they get it. Well, if we work hard, the white man takes it. You don't think that happens to the Joe Schmo? The average Joe Schmo? No, black people believe they're taxed more than whites. They're led to believe, just like women are led to believe, you go for a job, there isn't equal pay. Every time I've gone for a job, it says what the pay is, and black, white, male, or female goes for that job and get it. That's the pay they're given. Oh, well, CEOs, fuck you. You have to work your way up to be a CEO. And if they don't do right by you, you take it up with them. You take it to court. Oh, well, my male predecessors got more money and I didn't. You don't take that up with the average Joe Schmo. Oh, well, the white people were getting more money. I wasn't. You sue the company. You show your proof. Not just your phony crocodile black tears. You show proof. That's what we do in the court system, or supposed to be doing. Show proof. Look at Jasmine Crockett, that dumb bitch. You should hire me because I'm black. What was that? A threat? You don't hire me? I'm going to cause racial bullshit? Not you should hire me because I know what needs to be done. I'm a team player. I'm a this, I'm a that. No, just that she's black. Well, you know what? You being black doesn't mean shit to me. You being white doesn't mean shit to me. If I was the one who had to hire people for a job, you would have to show me you could do the job. I don't give a fuck what you look like. And if you walked into my office to get a job saying, well, you should hire me because I'm black, bye. You should hire me because I'm white, bye. I'm not looking for a black person. I'm not looking for a white person. I'm looking for someone who can do the job. I am also looking for someone who isn't going to be a fucking troublemaker. It's the same thing with the transgenders in the LGBTQ community. My son was reported at one of his jobs. He was in personnel. The application, the whatever you call it, the taking applications was over at a certain time. This transgender came in. He believed it was a woman. He sat her down and he said, "Look, ma'am, we've taken all the applications we can for today." And she said, "It's because I'm transgender." My son's mouth dropped to the floor. He had no clue that was a transgender. And she went and reported him for not giving her the job because it it was transgender. But there were cameras that recorded everything, even sound. And once the transgender saw what went on, that they had been caught, they walked away, and my son still had his job. Black people like to do that a lot. And again, it's not all, but majority are like Jasmine Crockett. Hire me because I'm black. How many videos have you seen with Hooters having to hire misshapen women just because they're black and they don't want to go through the bullshit of "you're racist"? No, Hooters had a body size requirement. Black women fought it. And because nobody wanted the bullshit, they let it happen. And what happened to Hooters? There's also been video of black women in restaurants just sitting there talking to each other, talking on their phones, while the white women are doing all the waitressing, all the work. And then when the black women are asked to get up and do their job, they're pissed off that they're interrupted from what they're doing. There is video of this, people, and not just one video, not just two videos, not just three videos, not just four, not just 10, not just 20. What the fuck is wrong with these women that they think they're black and they can just sit around, do what they want, and get paid? This is like what Carmelo Anthony's doing. He should be able to do what he wants, get away with everything he does because he's black, and that would prove people aren't racist. No. Fuck Carmelo Anthony being black. Fuck Austin Metcalf being white. Carmelo Anthony took a life for no reason. He needs to pay with his life. You can't have someone like that on the street because they will do it again.
Clear picture of a scared teen, reactionary, yes, but not evil, not irredeemable. They cite school records, mental health evaluations, and testimonials from teachers and coaches who say Carmelo just needs guidance, not prison bars.
He was getting guidance. That's why he was seeing guidance counselors. It wasn't working. And I bet you it had a lot to do with his family, who didn't even like him getting counseling, feeling there was nothing wrong with their kid. They and a lot of black people feel like there's nothing wrong with him now. It was all Austin Metcalf's fault. Because all Carmelo Anthony was doing, the innocent kid that he is, was trying to take shelter from the rain. It was a fucking drizzle. You were under the wrong tent, and you weren't even supposed to be there that day. Everything Carmelo Anthony did that day was a fucking choice. And he decided to do it. If we keep taking away the consequences for the bullshit people do, they're gonna continue to do it. All these reports say he just needed guidance. Well, apparently He wasn't getting guidance at home. He thought who the fuck he was when he said to the cops, no, it wasn't alleged, I do it. He was told because it's a stand your ground state, nothing would happen to him. I believe this. But the problem is, you weren't being met with great force to end your life. You had a concealed weapon and you pulled it out, and in a flash, you took that kid's life. And you knew about the stand your ground laws. I don't want to hear what anyone says. Carmelo Anthony knew about that law. He was told about that law. But you have to believe your life is in danger. And no, Carmelo Anthony didn't believe that. No. Because if he did, he would have avoided that tent like the plague. Oh, why should he? He's black. He's free to do what he wants. No, no one is free to just do what they want. There are rules set in place to keep things safe. He broke those rules. It wasn't safe, and a kid is dead by his own hands.
Strategy is clear. Make the judge feel the weight of what it means to sentence a teenager to adult time in an adult system. They even reference past cases where young offenders rehabilitated and went on to serve their communities. They want Carmelo seen as a case for reform, not retribution. But prosecutors push back hard. They argue that the severity of the crime, bringing a weapon, initiating the
Yes.
altercation, and ultimately ending a life, requires adult accountability.
Yes.
They say the justice system can't afford to gamble on redemption when the consequences were already so final for Austin
Yes.
Metcalf. He
And
made
how many people in that little statistic thing they brought up, how many became repeat offenders? Quite possibly the majority. How many lives were sacrificed to say, oh, people can be rehabilitated? Out of 100 people, maybe 10 could be rehabilitated. What are those other 90 gonna do? Whether they're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, they go and kill. Those are more lives gone. Oh, well, 10 did and it's worth it. No, it's not. No, it's not.
adult decision, the DA argues. He should face adult consequences.
Yes.
This isn't just a legal tug of war, it's a moral standoff. Can a moment
Yes.
of violence define a whole life? And should justice consider the person Carmelo could become, or only the person he was in that?
What about the person Austin Metcalf could have become? And Carmelo Anthony took that life. What are we arguing here? Oh, because Carmelo Anthony's black and Austin Metcalf's white, and people are tired of black people getting the shaft. He gave himself the shaft.
One fateful moment, the judge listens in silence, but the weight of the decision is growing by the minute. Outside the courtroom, the atmosphere shifts from legal procedure to passionate protest. A growing wave of BLM supporters gathers beyond the courthouse steps.
And you're going to have to get tanks around that courthouse. Because if he's given anything other than freedom, those people will riot. And what are you going to do? Say, well, they can be rehabilitated too? No, they're already planning on what they're going to do. Why does everyone, including black people who are afraid of other black people and the shit they're doing, have to walk in the street fearing for their lives because of people like this? Why? It's time to stop this shit. Maybe Alcatraz should be opened, or a new prison like Alcatraz should be made for the people who do this shit. I'm really starting to believe there's a movie called No Escape with Ray Liotta and Lance Henriksen, where the most dangerous criminals, which these people are the most dangerous criminals, and they're even white people who do the rioting and hurting people and killing people during riots, they should be put on this island. And every 6 months, supplies dropped off to them and never let them come back. Sounds extreme? Well, does this sound extreme? People cannot walk down their block without being harassed or robbed, especially if black people are coming into their neighborhoods. A lot of people will say, no, black people don't ruin neighborhoods. Baltimore, the other riots. There were black women lined up the next day for their welfare checks and pissed off that the check cashing places weren't opening up. But the riots were still going on. They're not going to risk their workers. And even though they have insurance for that money, they're not going to risk it being taken. What are you, stupid? So again, those Black Lives Matter riots hurt black people. And they don't care. Well, sometimes you have to sacrifice people for the better good. Sacrificing this kid was for the better good. There are so many people making money off of this kid, and this kid goes to prison. He's either not going to make it or he's going to be tortured for the rest of his life. Or they're going to have to keep him in solitary confinement for the rest of his life in order to protect him. Do you know what happens to people in solitary confinement? They don't know what time of day it is. They don't get any entertainment. They get nothing. They're just trapped. And they talked about the environment he was brought up in. That was his parents. No, we mean the neighborhood. His parents aren't part of that neighborhood. Get the fuck out of here.
Signs that say, justice means fairness, and don't let the system eat our youth. Their chants echo the same message Carmelo's legal team made inside, that a 17-year-old doesn't belong in a prison built for hardened criminals.
A 17-year-old doesn't belong dead because some piece of shit wanted to rob everybody when they were off doing the event. Oh, well, you don't know why that's why he was there. Why was he there? Just to take shelter from the rain? He played hooky from school. If he was in school, he would have had shelter from the rain. Don't give me this bullshit.
The movement isn't just about one teenager, it's about what his case represents. Activists argue that black youth are disproportionately tried as adults compared to their white peers.
Black youths disproportionately do the bunch of crimes. But no, black people do not want to hear about statistics unless it favors them. And you will hear black people say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Well, they will pull numbers lie if it doesn't go the way they want it to.
Especially when the charges are violent. And in their eyes, Carmelo's situation is a textbook example of the system's racial imbalance.
No, it's not. Everybody, they haven't even come up with one case where, in Texas, where that judge showed leniency to a white person, to a white kid, but did it for this kid.
They're not asking for a free pass. They're demanding the same mercy and consideration that's been shown in other cases, with a different skin color attached. Meanwhile, counter-protesters arrive, quiet at first, but determined. Some are grieving supporters of the Metcalf family. Others are concerned citizens who believe justice is being overshadowed by identity politics.
Yep.
Their message? That accountability can't be softened by public pressure. that if someone takes a life, age shouldn't be a shield. The
Yes.
courthouse becomes a line in the sand, two groups shouting across emotional lines. Police stand between them, trying to hold the peace. But on social media, the noise only grows. Hashtags trend, news outlets report live, and suddenly this isn't just a trial anymore. It's a national conversation about justice, race, age, and power. You start to wonder, what happens if the judge bows to public pressure? Or what if he ignores it entirely?
First off, the judge already did. Not only public pressure, but because the kid is black and she's black. Now, if the judge was white and followed the rules like they were supposed to, black people would be bitching the judge is white and not showing any leniency. Fuck you and fuck the colored shit. Fuck the color shit. One kid took another kid's life for no reason other than the one kid wanted to steal shit. And how dare it get told it can't steal shit? Because it's been brainwashed, it should have everything it wants. Don't let anyone stand in the way of getting what you want. They left out work for it. Work for what you want. They left that out, so they're getting programmed with just take what you want. Not true? Why was he there? He was supposed to be in school. He was not. Well, maybe he went there to cheer his friends on. Under the other tent? And then, when told he couldn't be there, he started trouble. Get the fuck out of here.
Because either way, someone is walking away feeling robbed of justice. Inside the courtroom, the battle shifts to the expert witnesses. Carmelo's defense brings forward a clinical psychologist who specializes in juvenile brain development. She explains how teenagers, especially under high stress or perceived threat, often act impulsively, not with intent.
That wasn't impulsive. That was intent. He opened his book bag, put his hand in his book bag where he knew the knife was, put his hands around the knife, and then struck. Those were all conscious decisions. So what are they saying? His brain wasn't developed enough? Then what the fuck was he doing with kids his own age if his brain wasn't developed enough? If his brain wasn't developed enough, why wasn't he in an institution? Austin Metcalf didn't have a knife. And Austin Metcalf is not muscle bound and all this other shit. They look to be about the same height, same stature, same everything. Carmelo Anthony had a plan that day and he carried it out. Now, it might not have been for Austin Metcalf, but it was for anybody who tried to stop him from stealing. And the underdeveloped brain thing, schools have been brainwashing our kids. Don't listen to your parents. Being gay is cool. Drag queens, you sticking money in their thongs is cool. Their junk falling out at story time for kindergartners when they cross their legs is cool. Think about it. And then what brainwashing was Carmelo Anthony getting at home? I haven't heard not one time Carmelo Anthony's defense say Austin Metcalf used the N word, that anyone there used the N word. What is that going to be? A Hail Mary play? They're going to pull that out last minute to enrage all the black people and all the white woke assholes?
Instinct. According to her findings, Carmelo's reaction the night of the incident was consistent with fight or flight behavior, not premeditation. The courtroom listed
What fight or flight? His life was not in danger. Anyone who went near Carmelo Anthony, their lives were in danger. He had a knife, and he was more than willing to use it for any reason.
listens closely as she details how the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for judgment and decision-making, isn't fully developed until the mid-20s. It's a biological fact, not an excuse, she says. And in
So they're gonna pull his brain wasn't fully developed to know right from wrong? Well, that's even more reason for him not to be around other people. You can't distinguish what's right from wrong because of an undeveloped brain. You shouldn't be around other people, even your own peers, people your own age, people younger than you, people older than you.
view, sending Carmelo into an adult facility would do far more harm than good. But the prosecution fires back just as hard. They argue that Carmelo wasn't a scared kid. He was fully aware of his actions. They
Yes.
point to video footage showing him standing his ground, holding the weapon with control, and walking away afterward without panic. To
What?
them, this wasn't impulsive. It was calculated. Their own
Yes.
expert argues that not all juveniles are the same, and that some are mature enough to know exactly what they're doing in the moment. The courtroom grows tense.
So now he wasn't mature enough. But then if white people start touting this shit, that's gonna be racist. Black people have gotten too used to having things going both ways in any which way they want.
Even some jurors visibly shift in their seats, trying to process two conflicting truths. So now the question becomes, is this a case of a teenager making a tragic mistake?
No.
Or a young man who knew the consequences of his violence?
Yes.
And as you listen to both sides tear apart each other's arguments, you realize this decision won't just shape Carmelo's future. It might reshape how the justice system treats all minors moving forward. Because when science meets law, the verdict isn't just about guilt. It's about what kind of society we want to be. The judge leans forward.
And society is the key word. There will be riots, more people killed, and more buildings and stores and towns destroyed.
Glancing between both tables. The defense, anchored by Carmelo's trembling parents, and the prosecution, firm and unyielding.
His parents are trembling because of the fucking money they're gonna lose. They weren't afraid of losing their kid, not at all.
It's a moment loaded with tension, not just for what it means to this family, but what it signals to the nation. After hours of emotional pleas, expert testimony, and a courtroom that feels like it's held together by a thread, the decision is near. But before the gavel falls, the judge announces one final recess, and the room erupts again, not in chaos, but in murmurs, speculation, anxious energy. Outside, a crowd gathers. BLM activists hold signs not just in support of Carmelo, but in demand for reform. Justice doesn't
Yeah, the thugs are outside to make sure they get their own way.
mean revenge, one woman tells a reporter. It means understanding how we got here in the first place. Another activist adds, we're not saying he's innocent, we're saying he's a kid, and kids need rehabilitation, not a cage. Meanwhile,
No. If he can fucking have kids, he's an adult. He steals, he knows the consequences, he continues to do it, he's an adult. He's making decisions. Saying his brain isn't fully developed? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. That shouldn't fly.
the Metcalf family walks past silently, visibly shaken. To them, this pause feels like justice delayed. Again, their supporters ask a different question. If not now, When is accountability ever real? And you, watching from the sidelines, start to understand just how deep this goes. This isn't just about a trial. It's about a country wrestling with what to do when grief, justice, and race collide in the courtroom. The judge's upcoming ruling won't just decide where Carmelo serves time. It may determine how a generation of young black teens is judged in the years to come. So now you ask yourself, what message will this send to the next?
Fuck color and young black teens? You're already taking it there, so they should get off too. You're telling them ahead of time before they even do a crime they should be getting off.
Carmelo, to the next family on either side of tragedy. Because no matter how the court rules, this case will echo long after the gavel drops.